Let's talk about and this is going to be a bold prediction. It's going to seem like a bold prediction at first, but then I'm going to tell you guys why it's not really a bold prediction, right? We're sticking on the topic of wide receivers
I
here.
hadn't seen this one yet. Okay, this is interesting.
Absolutely. So the bold prediction here, it's not an indictment. Okay, before I even say it, because I don't want you guys to exit out of the app and stop listening. This is not an indictment on his talent by any stretch of the imagination. This is a data-driven analysis. It's not emotion-driven, all right? 99% of you out there are probably driven by emotion, saying that I'm crazy for saying that DeAndre Hopkins is going to finish outside the top 4 wide receivers. That's a bold take, right? It sounds like it. But guess what, Nick? He actually finished as a wide receiver 4 last year. So is it that bold?
I mean, yes, I think so. Last year he was playing through, as he's already come out and said, a bunch of shoulder tears and like the most pain of his professional career. Watson wasn't really himself until like this last week 11 or so. It seemed like he finally became that Watson that we saw as a rookie. That they were averaging 40 points a game when Will Fuller, Hopkins, and Watson were all on the field together, and it just looked like that. They were averaging more points than Pat Mahomes was putting up last year, just to put it into perspective. So the ceiling of that all kind of coming back together and Watson finally realizing his true ceiling for a full season, and then him being his number one guy and being fully healthy, I think there's some humongous upside. So even if he was a wide receiver 4 last year, playing through all that shit, he put up 1,511 with like 2 horrible shoulders. Yep. I don't know. To me,
I said,
I know it's not an indictment on his talent. And I think he's just the best receiver in the league. I think he's got a good quarterback throwing to him. I think he's got an offense that funnels the looks to him. So it's even better when the other guys are healthy. I don't know. I get it that maybe he hasn't finished as higher than a wide receiver 4 before.
No, he has. He has. He's finished as a wide receiver 1.
But I don't know.
But let me tell you why, right? Let me tell you the data behind this, right? Because who the hell did Deshaun Watson have to throw to last year? DeAndre Hopkins and who else? Steven Anderson?
When Will Fuller was there for 5 games.
How many games?
Kiki Cutie wasn't bad. But I honestly don't know if that hurts it. That might be better for him to have some other weapons out there.
No. So let me explain to you something, right? The target market share from 2015 to 2018 with DeAndre Hopkins, insane. 2015, he saw 31.2% of the targets. He finished as a wide receiver 4 that year. 2016, it dipped down to 25.9, so 26% target market share. He finished as a wide receiver 37.
Wasn't that with Brock fucking Osweiler? Don't even get that. Yes. Don't even use it. Get that out of here. That doesn't count. Get that out of here. Not even listening to that one. Get that out.
All right. All right. You don't have to count that. 2017, 33.1% target share, wide receiver 1. Okay, nobody else there. He was still with Brock. No, he was still with Tom Savage. He was still with who else was still with him?
I think wasn't that Watson's rookie year where he got hurt, but they were dominating while he was healthy?
Right. But it was Tom Savage who took over after that, right?
And he's QB proof, so you're giving me another reason to love this guy.
Okay. This is not an indictment on talent. What I'm trying to stress here, right, is a target market share here. 33% and then 32% in 2018, where he finished as a wide receiver 4, right? His average over those 4 years has been 30.6% market share. The only guy that's averaged, he's first in terms of target market share.
Do you have a list of all of them, though? I was going to ask you.
I do.
Julio Jones's? Do you have
That's exactly what I'm getting to. So Julio's actually second in that time frame. And Julio is dominant in his not only air yard market share, but his target market share with 29.37% target market share in that time frame. Are you telling me that even with Kiki Kuti and Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a higher target market share than Julio Jones? You're crazy. Get out of here, bro.
When Julio Jones' little foot injuries pop up like they always do, then yes, he's going to see more total targets, maybe target share, maybe not. But then you got Calvin Ridley, you got Austin Hooper, you got
despite Calvin Ridley,
Freeman
Julio Jones had a 31% target market share last year. Despite Calvin Ridley, he dominates 50% of the air yard share. Right?
Hopkins is one of those guys that's as good, if not better, than Julio Jones as a talent. He's gonna always command 30. It's like an Antonio Brown. No matter where they are, I would be shocked if it dips to like 28%. Or whatever it might be. But even with that dip, if those other guys are staying healthy, to me that means this offense is more explosive. That means Deshaun Watson's back. I mean, again, I want to pull that stat up. I got to find it. I know it was over 40 points per game when they had Fuller and Hopkins and Watson back in 2 years ago. And I know Hopkins was on pace for like 20 touchdowns or something like that. So maybe the total sheer volume goes down, but if that quality goes up a little bit because you can't just throw 3 guys. I mean, Hopkins has been doing this. He's had no one there, but he's had no one to take any type of pressure away from him either. So he's still going to be the focal point of defenses and draw number ones, but he's been drawing number ones and the safeties and everything. If you got some guys there taking the top off the defense, getting them in the red zone more often where Hopkins is at his most dangerous, I'll take a 3-4 whatever % dip in the actual share because I think that efficiency and that volume is that much higher quality in my opinion.
Okay, so look back at the last couple of years. Who finished as a wide receiver 1? They're typically guys who don't have any competition for targets at their position, right? That's
Antonio Brown's been number 1, and he had like Juju there.
Yeah, Juju there. Okay, last year he had Juju for sure. He didn't finish as number 1. The year before that. Okay, cool. So I totally get that. But if you look at the splits with Kiki Kuti and Will Fuller, you look at how much of a hit he took. With games with only Kuti and no Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins went from averaging 12 targets to 7 targets, 109 yards to 56 yards. I get it's a small sample size, but you have to consider the fact that Kiki Kuti, he's a baller. Will Fuller,
he's good. They're both good. I love them both. Yeah.
Will Fuller, I'm considering him to play like 8 games max this season. Okay?
I was going to say though, you're now putting faith in 2 guys that have not yet proven for a single shred of a second that they can stay on the field either.
Well, Kiki Kuti is not injury prone. Don't label him as that. It was
I'm
a
not
hamstring
labeling
injury.
him, but he missed a ton of time last year.
Sure. So does
we got 1 year.
so did Anthony Miller. So did OBJ. So did
and
all these guys. They missed
tissue little shit. Yeah, I know. And I would say OBJ is injury prone. He always has some little nagging thing. I don't like that. I hate that. And I'm not. We only have 1 year of sample size with Kiki Kuti, whereas we have a bunch with Will Fuller. But I'm not sitting here saying we got Iron Man next to Hopkins who plays through torn labor. There's just a toughness factor that Hopkins has that very few people have. And to me, maybe even if he doesn't finish as the number 1 guy where he's going where he should go, you have this floor of he's going to play through anything. Has he ever missed a single career game? Maybe 1 or 2 thrown in there. I don't have the stat up here. But he's been an iron warrior. He can play through any quarterback not named Osweiler. So even if he doesn't hit number 1 exactly, the floor, he's not going to finish lower than top 5. And he still has every reason to have all that ceiling when you have a Watson finally rounding into form. And I really do think that if all those guys are healthy, it maybe doesn't help because he doesn't see as much targets, but I don't think it hurts as much as you're leading on to here because I think the quality really does spike.
So let's book this conversation. I'm guaranteeing
like this
you
one.
that
This is a good
I'm
one.
Guaranteeing you he's going to finish outside the top 4. You can put my name on that.
Let's put a little bet on this.
I'm down to put a prop bet on that.
I like that. We gotta come up with a prop bet for some of these.
Absolutely.
We'll come up with
100%.
a scenario. Yeah,
this will be fun. We'll make a list.
We'll make a list. But Hopkins will absolutely be a top 4 receiver. I will bet on that one.
All right.